My life was still busy from morning to night. There were always things to do or to make. I learned to make new clothes from myself from the skins of dead animals. They looked very strange, it is true, but they kept me dry in the rain. I kept food and tools and built my houses, and also wild goats. There were many goats on the island, and I made fields with high fences to keep them in. They learned to take food from me, and soon I had goat's milk to drink every day. I also worked hard in my cornfields, and so many years went by. Then, one year, something strange and terrible happened. I often walked along the shore, and one day I saw something in the sand. I went over to look at it more carefully and stopped in sudden surprise. It was a footprint, the footprint of man. Who could this be? Afraid, I looked around me. I listened, I waited, nothing. I was more and more afraid. Perhaps this man was one of these wild people who killed and ate other men. Looked everywhere, but there was nobody, and no other footprint. I turned and hurried home. There is someone on my island, I said to myself. Perhaps he knows about me. Perhaps he is watching me now from behind a tree. Perhaps he wants to kill me. That night I couldn't sleep. The next day I got all my guns ready and I put more wood and young trees around my house. Nobody could see me now. But after 15 years alone on the island, I was afraid, and I didn't not leave my cave for 3 days. In the end, I had to go out to milk my goats. But for 2 years I was afraid. I stayed near my house, and I never used my guns because I didn't want to make a noise. I could not forget the footprint, but I saw and heard nothing more, and slowly I began to feel happier. One day, a year later, I was over on the west side of the island. From there, I could see the other islands, and I could also see a boat far out to sea. If you have a boat, I thought it's easy to sail across to this island. Perhaps that explains the footprint. It was a visitor from one of the other islands. I began to move more freely around the island again and built myself a third house. It was a very secret place in the cave. No wild man will ever find that, I said to myself. Then a year something happened which I can never forget. I was again on the west side of the island and was walking alone on the shore. Suddenly I saw something which made me feel ill. There were heads, arms, feet, and other pieces of men's bodies everywhere. For a minute I couldn't think, and then I understood. Sometimes there were fights between the wild men on the other islands. Then they came here to my island with their prisoners to kill them, cook them, and eat them. Slowly I went home, but I was very angry. How could men do this? For many months I watched carefully for the smoke from fire, but I didn't see anything. Somehow the wild men came and went, and I never saw them. I was angry and afraid and wanted to shoot them all, but there were many of them and only one of me. Perhaps I can shoot one on three or two, I said to myself, but then they will kill me and eat me. Then one morning in my 23rd year on the island, I was out in my fields and I saw the smoke. Quickly I went up the hill to watch.